I'll take things I didn't expect to hear on a Canucks broadcast for 500, Alex. I guess this is kind of an okay time to talk about National Nut Day, because Corey Hirsch went out there and talked about it at the end of the broadcast. I don't even, oh my gosh, National Nut Day. Huh, okay, I guess we're going to start off on that note because that was kind of the last part of the Canucks Blackhawks broadcast that stands out to me at least. But hey, this game over here for the Vancouver Canucks against Chicago, October 21st, 2021, the Patrick Kane 1,000 game ceremony day, was a pretty good one. And in particular, I want to start off by just establishing that this game was probably the one game so far in the season that pretty much defines to us why the Vancouver Canucks got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Conor Garland, and Jason Dickinson. All these guys went out here, even Tucker Poolman, heck, to be fair, and they were all pretty solid. This, I think, was the best collective game that we had from those guys this season so far, and as well, the BBB line. Man, that's like a flashback to a few years ago. The Lotto 649 line, I mean. Miller, Boeser, Pearson, all fantastic out there. Pearson still looking a little bit timid compared to the dangerous lethality that we would be used to seeing in his rookie season. But this game was also highlighted by somebody else in the lineup. A guy who reached his 100th point here today and becomes one of the fastest defensemen to ever do so in NHL history. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. Let's talk about Quinn Hughes today. So, when I say that all these guys on the Vancouver Canucks had great games, the new additions did their thing, Dickinson scored a goal, Ekman-Larsson was good defensively, and all these other guys, Conor Garland, of course, scoring an empty netter as well. That's all fine and dandy. Quinn Hughes, though, played what was one of the most reliable and stable games that we're just used to seeing at this point, that it's almost kind of weird to take a step back and acknowledge, okay, this guy is that good. It's almost a standard for him that we expect him to be so good all the time, and he was that today. You know, I was kind of worried heading into the day because we had ourselves, I think it was a few posts talking about how Quinn Hughes has a lower body injury and he might miss some time and all that. And then all of a sudden he's taken practice and he's playing. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, look, I just hope he doesn't end up hurting himself, right? We hear all the crazy stories about NHL athletes and fighting off pain with painkillers and all that all the time, right? So hopefully this is nowhere near that kind of territory. I just hope that if Quinn Hughes is playing today, he is at 100%. And my goodness, did he look like he was at 100%. Keeping the puck in at the blue line, sending breakout passes, controlling the puck in his own zone. It's all done at such an elite level, and this is one of the biggest parts they were missing against Buffalo. Now, sure, I did say it previously, Quinn Hughes playing against the Sabres the other day, I'm not too sure if he alone would have been enough to fix the Canucks' problems and not lose 5-1, but just having that addition and that confidence from your back end certainly does wonders for the rest of the team. The Vancouver Canucks were playing against the Chicago Blackhawks squad that really has not gotten off to a hot start. I don't recall the exact number, but for the amount of time this team was actually trailing and playing without a lead, it was astronomically, historically bad, something like that. But either way, this game got off to a pretty good emotional start because we had the celebration for Patrick Kane in his 1,000 NHL game, so very big congrats to him. But the Vancouver Canucks got things off quickly in this one, as it was none other than Jason Dickinson who gets the first goal of the game. In fact, this was a goal not only scored by Dickinson, but assisted by a lot of the other depth pieces on this team too. It's Niels Höglander who chips it in down low. Matthew Highmore, remember we acquired Highmore in the Adam Gaudette trade with the Blackhawks, who centers it out for Dickinson. He takes a few steps forward, he comes and he shoots it, he scores top corner on Kevin Lankinen. 1-0 Vancouver just 6 minutes into the game. And I'll say this here about Jason Dickinson. There were a few moments in this game specifically where I was like, yeah, that was a great defensive play there by Dickie. I guess that's what his nickname is, right? Jason Dickinson? Yeah, we'll just call him Dickie here for now. But he has been a very sneaky, very quiet, very low offense octane kind of forward who just does pretty much the right play most of the time in his own end. So to see him get rewarded through his efforts over here and actually get a goal, very nice to see over there. I know a lot of Canucks fans were kind of harping on Dickinson during the first 4 games and the slumps that the team was going on because while PD and Hughes and all them were not scoring, hey, Dickinson wasn't scoring either. So if we're not going to get goals from the top of the lineup, where's the middle of the lineup and the bottom of the lineup? They're not getting any goals either. It's just roles, guys, you know? Like, Dickinson was not brought in to be a 30, 40, 50-point guy. Nor was he even really brought in to be like a 15-goal guy. He was just brought in to be a third-line defensive shutdown center, so to see him get rewarded with a goal in this one certainly does feel good to say the least. But you give it a few more minutes, and the Chicago Blackhawks immediately get it back. It's on the power play. It's the 1,000-game man himself, Patrick Kane, who goes cross-crease on Alex DeBrincat, who then snipes it far side. Right-handed shot, left side of the net. The pass goes right to left. Demko goes all the way to his right and commits to that side, so DeBrincat shoots it the opposite way. It's 1-1 after 1 here, and the Vancouver Canucks, honestly, kind of started to scramble a little bit, but then they started to get the momentum back towards the end of the first period. That's when Vancouver was really starting to pile it on a lot more. But then you give it the second period and things get a little bit better there. As Conor Garland gives it back over to Quinn Hughes, yeah, we noted Quinn Hughes, he was very good in this game. He walks the line like, you know, what's that move? Walk the dog on the yo-yo where you like pull it back? Yeah, that kind of thing. He just walks the line so fluently, so elegantly, and he throws it towards the goal. Tanner Pearson tips it in. It's 2-1 Vancouver. Tanner Pearson's very first goal on the season. This was one of those plays that Quinn Hughes did a lot in this game, where he's got it at the blue line and he just whips it to the goal, and it makes for a very good scoring chance. There are many opportunities elsewhere in this game where you could see Quinn Hughes just throw it to the net. It makes a weird bounce or whatever, it goes wide, but this one gets tipped in. Very good tip by Tanner Pearson to get the Canucks up 2-1. Then the Vancouver Canucks, a few minutes later at the end of the second period, on a 5-on-3 power play, get themselves Brock Boeser's first goal on the year as well. This is JT Miller at the top of the umbrella going over to Elias Pettersson on the right side. He threads the needle to Brock, who is right there on the left. He takes a shot. It gets saved by Lankinen. He does not go behind the net. He doesn't retreat. He doesn't leave. He pounces on that once again for the rebound, gets it over. It's 3-1, baby, and Brock Boeser has his first on the year. Very nice play right there from the Lotto 649 line. The Canucks could not capitalize on the rest of the power play that ensued, though, and ended off the second period with a 3-1 score. The last goal of the game was the Conor Garland empty netter. He was in the box at the end of the third period. The Chicago Blackhawks pulled the goalie, so it was 6-on-4, and then Garland comes back out. They send the puck over to him, and you can see him skating towards the empty net. It's a breakaway. He's protecting the puck, and he's cradling it almost. And it's one of those very strange-looking goals where it's like, I've never seen anybody move with the puck like that before. Like, I guess he didn't need to make a move. He didn't want to be fancy. He wanted to make sure he buried it. But it was kind of a funny empty net goal, wasn't it? Either way, though, Garland had himself a very good game over here. I thought Tyler Myers played very well, too, especially on that Dominic Kubalik cross-crease attempt after Kubalik was in the box as well. He did a very good job blocking that centering pass. It doesn't work often, but when it does, it looks very nice. He also did a few other really good plays as well throughout the defensive zone, and I think that the Vancouver Canucks just kind of rounded out things that they needed to round out for this game. Of course, I don't want to make it seem like this team is a playoff team now, or is a solidified cup contender because of one game here, but if you're going over from Buffalo and you're looking at this game immediately after, hey, there are some really noticeable improvements from a lot of these other guys the Canucks acquired in the offseason. OEL was strong, Conor Garland scored a second, we had ourselves, of course, Jason Dickinson starting off the scoring, and Quinn Hughes and all them look as good as well. The only thing I'll say, though, to end off this video, is Bo Horvat. We talk about all the good performances from the guys in this game, but Bo Horvat ultimately had one that I don't think was all too great, mostly in the defensive zone. There was that one play where he kind of gave it away to the Blackhawk on the far side in his own territory by spinning away from the forecheck and just kind of throwing it out. You could see on the bench Bo was very visibly frustrated with himself afterwards, but I will leave off with a compliment as well. He won 72% of his draws. Very, very good performance there from Bo in the dot. JT also had 60% of a face-off percentage in this one, so the guys that you want to start winning face-offs are starting to win a lot more face-offs than they had been throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, again, it's only one game, but it's a very good step. Talk to me in the comments, what do you think about the Vancouver Canucks 4-1 win over the Blackhawks? What do you want to see for next game? Do you want to see Podkolzin come back? Would you like to see things stay the way they were? Do you think any changes need to be made to special teams or whatever? They experimented a lot. They had OEL and Hughes on the same power play at one time. Tell me in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Roll 99. And bye.